What's the hardest thing about writing? Well, it's getting started. Maybe you're having a hard time coming up with a story idea, or you're stuck on where to take your story next. If you want a way into a story or a way through, I have 9 story starters to help you. This free PDF is full of story seeds and prompts to get you going. To download your 9 story starters, go to nancypanuccio.com/start. That's Nancy with an I, Panuccio with 2 C's, nancypanuccio.com/start. How do you write dialogue that sounds natural but still stays true to your story? Well, one of the ways is to think about the thing your character doesn't want to say. I'll explain what I mean coming up in today's episode. Stay tuned. Writer Unleashed is for you, a writer who has a story you want to bring onto the page and into the hearts and minds of readers. I'm Nancy Panuccio, writer, editor, and writing coach. And each week, we'll explore techniques, mindsets, and inspiration for writing stories readers can't put down. Thanks for spending some time with me today. Now let's begin. A writer asks, what's your tip on making dialogue sound natural? This is such a great question. Here's the thing about dialogue in story. So story dialogue is not the same as real life dialogue. It's not a transcription of real life conversations. It's compressed, it's shaped, and it gets its charge from the needs of your story, from the needs of your characters. Now, we talked about shaping and compression in last week's episode 52. So make sure you listen to that one, and I'll link in the show notes. So story dialogue is not the same as real life dialogue, but at the same time, we should pay attention to the nuances and the rhythm of real life conversations. We want to pay attention to word choice and syntax and subtext and all of that stuff. We need to be really aware and in tune with what people say, how they say it. We want to be looking for the ways that people don't listen to one another, the way they interrupt, and the way that they don't answer questions, or they don't respond, or they evade. We want to look for the ways that we ourselves evade hard conversations, the way that we dance around things that are hard for us to talk about. So we want to bring tension into our dialogue. Now, by tension, I'm not talking about epic conflict or disagreement. Tension is the space between what two people say to one another. It's what's not being said. The tension can exist even between two people who love each other. So we're not talking about epic conflict here. It's not a fight so much between characters. The fight's happening within characters who are trying to find the courage to say something that's hard to talk about. So sometimes it's useful to think of the things your character doesn't want to say and get at it aslant, and that creates tension. Now, before I give you an example of dialogue that has tension, let's talk about dialogue that has no tension. So dialogue without tension is the kind of dialogue we might have in an elevator or when we run into a neighbor at the supermarket. And it always goes something like this. Hi, how are you? I'm great. How are you? I haven't seen you all winter. I'm doing great. Beautiful day, isn't it? Summer at last. Ah, beautiful day. Well, nice to see you. Enjoy your weekend. Nice to see you. You too. Okay, so we always have conversations like this in some form or another, right? But there's no tension here. Now, let's look at dialogue that does have tension. Now, I love to read plays. When I was living in New York City, one of my favorite pastimes was to see dramatic plays. I loved dramatic plays in particular because the action, all the energy is in the dialogue. So I want you to understand this about dialogue. It's action. So dialogue is action. So in plays, though, we have very little stage direction. And so the dialogue is the story. And the dialogue is shaped and gets all its charge from the needs of the character. So it's very character driven. Okay, so here's the opening scene from Harold Pinter's play, Betrayal. So, little setup. Emma and Jerry are in a pub. Emma is sitting at a corner table. Jerry approaches with drinks. He has a pint of bitter for him and a glass of wine for her. And Jerry starts the conversation. Well, Emma, how are you? All right. You look well. Well, I'm not all that well, really. Why? What's the matter? Hangover. He raises his glass. Cheers. He drinks. How are you? I'm fine. She looks around the bar, back at him. Jerry. Just like old times. It's been a long time. Yes, I thought of you the other day. Good God, why? She laughs. Why? Well, it's nice sometimes to think back, isn't it? Absolutely. She pauses. How's everything? Oh, not too bad. Okay, so let's unwrap this. Now, it's clear that these characters are dancing around something and we're eavesdropping. Now, notice that they don't tell us much. They don't really say much to each other, but what can you infer about this relationship based on what they've said so far? What's underneath? Now, we know that they have a history together, and we can guess that it ended for reasons that may not have had anything to do with them necessarily. They're very polite with one another. There's no animosity. There's no hostility. So already we're starting to guess that they're here not to get back together, but to talk about something to do with their past together. So they have some reckoning to do here. But we can also infer that Jerry misses Emma and their relationship. And I'm going to guess that Emma has moved on. But again, they're here to talk about something we don't know yet about. Now, eventually they get into it. And at one point, Jerry calls her darling, and she says, "Don't call me that." And we learn that Emma is married to Robert, and she tells Jerry that she and Robert had had a long talk the night before, and she found out that he's been betraying her for years with other women, to which Jerry replies, well, we were betraying him for years. So things were starting to unfold, but it's what they weren't saying in that first part of the conversation where all the tension was. There was some repetition, like, how are you and how's everything? And then Jerry replies, not that well, then later says, not bad. So there's this the secrecy that defined their relationship in the past is still here in this present conversation years later. Now, they don't just launch into it, they ease their way into it gradually. So a great way to make dialogue sound natural is, number one, pay attention to the space between what people say to each other, what's not being said, and what do you infer in those spaces. And number two, take a scene of dialogue in your work in progress or start a new one. So here's the thing. You have two people, put them in a room together. Each is keeping a secret from the other. Get them talking. Now, neither character is going to reveal their secret to the other, and you're not going to reveal either secret to the reader. Okay, so now the idea here is to create this tension in the dialogue as they're trying to keep the secret from one another. And you, as the writer, is also trying to keep that secret from being revealed to the reader. Now, to help this writing exercise along, go listen to episode 52, where I talk about how to avoid bloating your dialogue with exposition. Now, I would love to read what you come up with, so share it with me. Just drop me an email at nancy@nancypanuccio.com. That's Nancy with an I at nancypanuccio.com. I'll give you some feedback on what you send me. Now, this is a powerful exercise in writing dialogue, but it's also a great story starter. So I can't wait to read what you create. Writer Unleashed is on hiatus for the next 6 weeks, but I'll be back on August 4th with a whole new season and brand new episodes. In the meantime, join us on our private Facebook group, Writer Unleashed Community. It's totally free to join. I'll be spending time there this summer with podcasts from season 1 and 2 and more conversation about the writing craft and the writing life. It's totally free to join. Go to facebook.com/groups/Writer Unleashed Community. Keep writing, and I'll talk to you soon.